Okay, so are you all ready for real quick little stories that are absolutely true? I learned something
What's that?
with each experience.
Okay.
Okay? The first one was when I went to it was like a sleeping bag, pajama. The kids were supposed to be their community center. I was doing it for my dentist who was on the board of the DePere Community Center. And I thought, okay, this will be fun and fine and everything. Well, the parents were all way in the back, talking, doing what they wanted to do. The kids are all up there in front and running around. Now, you would think that the ages would be logical. Kindergarten age, second, third, fourth, fifth. I had kids in fifth grade and I had 1 year olds. 1 year olds. They can't even talk, much less know how to listen. And there are these kids, and it was just awful. I was doing my great stories. I was doing everything. I was doing stuff that you do with preschoolers. I was doing stuff that I was really working hard. And I was having a good time, and they were having a wonderful time. Romper Roomville. I mean, they were jumping around, talking, and finally I said, everybody be quiet. And parents, you be quiet too. I said, you see, kids, I said, and I looked this 1 year old straight in the eyes. And I said, this is my best stuff. It doesn't come any better than this. This is all I got. I'm going to be here about 10 more minutes, so listen up. Well, what I learned from that was that if you ever do something like that, have the parents sit with the kids, and you have no problem at all because everybody's listening and having a wonderful time. But when the parents are talking in the back or teachers in a school, and you're trying to tell to the kids there's something goes wrong, you have to say, hey, let's all listen, have a good time. But I learned something from that, but boy, was it painful at the time. I wonder what that 1 year old, how old would he be now? Oh, well, next one, I did and it was AT&T, the old Southwestern Bell in St. Louis. They were having a hayride fall thing. Um, it was fun. I mean, they'd go to different places and be entertained with music. I was the storyteller. So I had everything all ready, and we were just having, a good time. I told some stories, and then the next group came, and they sat there in the hay bales, and I'm telling stories. And all of a sudden, I realized that the second group had had quite a bit to drink. And a few of them didn't want to be there. They thought this was stupid. And so the one guy says, hey, you can tell how long ago this was. Hey, why are we listening to this guy telling fairy tales when Americans are getting shot down over Nicaragua? And I thought, huh, now what do you do? You're telling a story. In the middle of the story, somebody does that. What do you do? So then I kept on telling some, and he did it again. And then the friend said, yeah. And the audience took over and they became my cohorts, my friends in crime. And they said, we really do want to listen to this. And they said, well, why should we listen? And I said, you know what? I said, I'm hired to do this. This is what I'm paid for. So I'm going to do it. And that's what's going to happen. And they realized that I meant business, but some of these people wanted to be there to hear me tell stories. And so they just drifted away, walking down the, road to the next venue. What did I learn from that? Hmm. Think about that. What did you learn from that story? And the next one is when Sue Hinkle, not to mention names, asked me if I would tell stories at Six Flags over Mid-America. A fall festival. Oh, how wonderful. I would tell stories. There would be hay bales. Everybody would come to hear me. Oh, it was just like my first days of teaching French. All the kids had elected to teach French. I mean, to learn French. They would want to learn French. And then you realize that you don't take an elective just because you love it. Some of them don't really want to learn French. They just want their elective credit. So I thought, okay, this is going to be great, though. This is fun. So I got all ready, and in back of me was Miss Kitty's saloon show. And every 5 minutes, Miss Kitty's saloon show will start in 10 minutes. 5 minutes later, Miss Kitty's, and the people are standing right there within 10 feet behind me, talking in line. But that wasn't as loud as the train that blew its whistle right in front of me. I was right in front of the train stop. But nothing was louder than the square dance caller. The square dance caller shouting out all those directions, people having a good time dancing. And I thought, I can't compete. I can't do anything. They can't hear me. And then I thought, oh, look, look, there's a guy. He's gonna sit there and people are gonna come. It's going to be wonderful. You know, they will come. If you build it, if you tell it, they will come. And I said, oh, I'm so glad you're sitting here. Would you like to hear a story? He said, hey, man, didn't you see my crutches? I just got to sit here for a while. I don't care what you do, but I'm going to sit here. So I told him some stories, and a few people came over. And, it wasn't that bad. But I learned a long time at our first workshop weekend. There were 12 people. One had to go home sick. There were enough people there. There were enough ducks in the pond. There was enough toilet paper for everybody. Sometimes you can be totally prepared and things just happen, but roll with it and have a good time. And after all, if you have nothing left, at least you have a story.